I survived a triple bypass just fine. It was the sold sign on my own front lawn that nearly finished the job. 11 days in the hospital. My son's SUV was in my driveway when the taxi pulled up. My furniture was on the curb in the rain. And through my kitchen window, I could see my daughter-in-law holding a measuring tape. I'm 72 years old. I've buried a husband, raised 2 children, and paid off every square foot of that house. And my children sold it out from under me while I had tubes in my chest. They thought I'd sign whatever made me easiest to manage. What they forgot, what they never bothered to learn, is what their father did before he died. Stay with me, because there's a piece of paper in this story, and when it finally lands on a table, everything you're about to watch turns upside down. Let me tell you what a curb looks like when your life is sitting on it. My reading chair, 40 years old, molded to my back, with a wet cardboard box on the seat. My photo albums under a tarp, like they were ashamed of themselves. My son Gregory met me on the porch of my own house, the way a manager meets you at a return desk. Mom, you should have called. I should have called. To visit my house. Inside, my daughter-in-law Dana was walking a man in a suit through my dining room, saying the words, "open concept." My things were in piles marked keep, sell, and, I will never forget this, clutter. 50 years of my life sorted into 3 words while I was on a heart monitor. I didn't yell. At my age, you learn what yelling is worth. I asked one question. Where am I supposed to live, Gregory? He had a brochure ready, glossy. Autumn Meadows. You'll love it. Here's the machinery of it, because these things always have machinery. 3 days after my surgery, when I was still counting ceiling tiles through the fog, Gregory brought papers to my hospital bed. Insurance forms, Mom. Just sign here. And here. I was 60% anesthesia. I signed. One of those papers was a power of attorney. With it, he'd listed the house, priced it $80,000 under market. Motivated seller, you see, and had a buyer in 9 days. The deposit was already spent. I found the truck, a brand new pickup in candy apple red, parked behind his office so I wouldn't see it. Dana had already picked out tile. The word she used at Thanksgiving later was proactive. They weren't stealing my house, you understand. They were getting ahead of things. And the worst part? The part that kept me up in that rented room those first nights was how reasonable they made it sound. It's for your own good, Mom. You almost died, Mom. You know what, Gregory? I didn't. My husband Walter was a quiet man. 41 years married, and he said maybe 10,000 words. But he watched people. And about a year before his heart gave out, he watched Gregory borrow $4,000 for a sure thing and never mention it again. So Walter went to see a lawyer named Dolores Okafor. I only knew her as the woman who sent a Christmas card every year, signed, "Everything is fine, D." The week after I came home to that sold sign, I found her card in my purse and called the number. She didn't say hello. She said, "Eleanor, I was hoping you'd call before I had to do something dramatic." I sat in her office that afternoon, and she slid a folder across the desk, the way you'd deal the winning card. "Your husband didn't leave you a house, Eleanor," she said. "He left you a trust, and the trust owns the house." I asked her what that meant exactly. She smiled the way lawyers smile once per case. "It means your children just sold a house that was never theirs to sell. And it means we're going to have a wonderful autumn." Now, here's what my quiet husband had actually built. while I thought he was in the den doing crosswords. The house, in the trust. The lake cabin Gregory kept calling the family asset, in the trust. Walter's old machine shop business, the one Gregory managed and my daughter Susan kept the books for, the one that paid both their salaries, in the trust. And the sole trustee upon Walter's death, with full authority over every brick, every account, every payroll, was me. Not Gregory, not Susan, Eleanor. Dolores laid it out like a bricklayer. The power of attorney I'd signed in a hospital bed, a POA signed under sedation, 3 days post-op, gets shredded by any judge in the state, and it never had authority over trust property anyway. The sale was void. Not contestable. Void. The buyer would get his deposit back from the escrow, minus what Gregory had already borrowed, which was now Gregory's personal problem, along with a candy apple truck. Dolores asked me how I wanted to handle it, quietly or loudly. I thought about my chair in the rain. Dolores, I said, I've been quiet for 72 years. I invited them to dinner. Neutral ground. Susan's favorite restaurant, my treat. To talk about the transition. You should have seen how fast they said yes. They thought the old woman was coming to terms. I let them order appetizers. I let Gregory show me pictures of autumn meadows on his phone. They do movie nights, Mom. I let Dana say the words, blessing in disguise. Then I set 3 envelopes on the table, like place cards. Gregory's held the letter voiding the sale. Trust property, unauthorized transfer, cease and desist. Susan's held the audit notice. The trust's accountant would be reviewing the shop's books, her books, going back 7 years. And the 3rd envelope, in the middle of the table, held a single photograph of a candy apple red pickup truck with the dealership invoice stapled to it, paid for with a dead man's escrow. Nobody touched their bread. Here's the transition, I said, and I kept my voice at church volume. The sale is void. The buyer's lawyer already knows. The trust is auditing the business, so Susan, dear, tidy up. And Gregory, the trustee is reviewing management salaries at the shop. The trustee has concerns. Gregory finally found his voice. Mom, who's the trustee? I put on my reading glasses, picked up the menu, and said, I hear the salmon's good. The sale unwound in 11 days, 1 day for every day I'd spent in the hospital, which felt right. The buyer got his money. The listing came down. On a gray Tuesday morning, 2 very polite men carried my reading chair back into my living room, and I tipped them $20 each and sat in it for 1 full hour before I unpacked a single box. The audit found what audits find. Nothing criminal from Susan, just years of rounding in the family's favor, which the trust required her to repay on a schedule Dolores described as educational. Gregory's management salary was corrected to match what he actually managed, which stung him worse than shouting ever could. He sold the truck at a loss. Dana returned the tile. Autumn Meadows sent me a follow-up brochure. I mailed it back with a note. The residents seem lovely. Perhaps you have a unit for my son. And the POA, the paper they got out of a woman full of anesthesia, hangs framed in Dolores's office now, stamped void in red. She calls it modern art. Here's the part I keep coming back to, at night, in my chair. Walter never told me about the trust. 41 years, and he never said a word. I used to think that would have hurt, being protected without being asked. But Dolores showed me the letter he left in the file, and I'll share one line of it because I've earned the right. Eleanor can carry anything. I just never want her to have to carry it alone. My children forgot whose house it was. My husband never forgot whose it would need to be. Both of my kids still come to Sunday dinner. We're rebuilding, slowly, on my terms, at my table. Forgiveness is a door I keep unlocked, but the deed, the trust, and the chair, those stay in my name. Gregory once told me I needed someone to manage my affairs. He was right, in the end. Her name is Eleanor, and every account gets settled. If this story earned it, that like button helps more people find us. There's a new account settled here every week. The stories are fiction, but the feelings never are. Subscribe, and I'll see you at the next reckoning.